Hello everybody, GL1 here. Welcome to the premier online toy museum. And today I'm going to show you my collection of Unicorn Academy dolls. I've never watched the show, and so I don't know anything about it, but I thought the dolls were interesting, and I started with one, and then I got another because they were all going on clearance in this area anyway. And I noticed that of course, the faces are different in the sculpts, but their body proportions are different. And I noticed that from this first one that I purchased and then the second one here. And I could tell that the legs are a different size. And I thought, and so are the arms, actually. A pretty cool effort. Again, I always like when they just don't change the color of a doll and put on a different head and just use the same body all the time. They actually went through and did different bodies and, all these really fancy outfits that, they have to, sew and market and put together. And I just really like the effort that goes into making a doll. And, when they have all this articulation, to me, they're really action figures because you can do all kinds of action poses with them. And one thing that maybe is underappreciated is the gloves. It wasn't that long ago that you didn't have dolls with gloves. They would be molded, the plastic would be molded into the hand. But, especially like wrestlers, WWE action figures, right? A lot of those have gloves and it's just molded into the hand. But these actually have gloves that you could remove. I think that's pretty neat. Of course, you need gloves if you're going to ride unicorns, right? So, all right, so here's her outfit, and this is Ava. So they all have different names, and once I open the box and throw it away, I won't remember their names. I have to, scan them each time and look it up. And then next to her is Valentina, and you may have seen Valentina when I did the dinosaur episode on a Kilobator, and saying that they look very similar. But, again, very pretty dolls. A lot of effort put into the hair and the colors and, making all these outfits and, look at the boots and everything. Of course, you got to have boots if you're going to ride unicorns. You don't want to, you got to protect your ankles. Really cool doll. And I'm going to open up the other ones as well, and we're going to take a look at all of them. All right, so I've opened them all up, and I've made another observation. It seems that Valentina is the only doll that came with two accessories. She has a brush for the hair, and she has a mirror. I don't remember the description of her, but I presume she's a pretty rare doll because I saw the three that were easy to find, Sophia, Isabel, and Valentina. They were easy to find, but I'm sorry, Ava. But Valentina, I've only seen once, and the other one I've only seen once is Layla. And Layla is described as being the perhaps the smartest of all of them. And I thought what was so cliche is that they gave her glasses. So, glasses make you look smart. So they gave her glasses. Removing her from the package was actually quite difficult. They did a lot to hold this hair in place on the doll. And if you find one, there's like 6 nylon staples, 6 or 8, holding the hair down. And then there's one staple for the head. And then you have actually like this plastic, have like this sort of plastic sheets that have nylon that go all the way through that attach to the hair, and you had to like kind of separate that and pull that out. And of course, every limb had a nylon staple on it. So removing her was annoying, but really cool doll, I think, too. In the hair, this is the softest doll hair, and if you've watched my show, I've had a lot of dolls, Barbies, and things, and actually I have a lot more that I haven't shown you. But this is definitely the softest hair I've ever felt on a doll. I don't know whether to describe it as real, the most real. It's just the softest. I don't know if anybody has, I'm sure somebody, but this is softer than any hair I've ever touched. So That's a great, that's probably a great thing. And again, the body proportions are different. You can see at thinner legs, but they're all about the same height. They're 9.5-inch dolls, and I think those probably are the same legs there too. But anyway, I like Layla. She's a cool doll. And also the box art is different on all of them. Like I said, I threw away the boxes, but what's interesting is that the doll of the box, the doll is highlighted in the center, right, of the one that you're purchasing, except for Isabel. Isabel over here, which is this doll here, okay, Isabel is not on the center of her box. So here's her box, right? Clearly it's Isabel. And then, look, she's off on to the side. So I don't know what that's all about. Instead they have Sophia in the center there. So it's a little strange there, right? But anyway, she's driven by a competitive spirit, blah, blah, blah. If you watch the show, I guess, you can figure that out. Anyway, this one's not difficult to find. This is a unique hair feature here, right? You have that kind of flipping up there. And then you got that nice, blue stripe in there. And pretty soft hair as well. And again, now these proportions are kind of the thicker proportions. I think you see the legs are thicker. Let's see if she's this. Sorry about that. All right, let's see. Yeah, I think it's the same body type. All right, that you have there on Ava. All right, so that's Isabel. Again, you got, all this good articulation, lateral shoulders and elbows and knees and lateral hips and everything. So a nice doll. All right. Okay, and then last we have Sophia, and then box art. Sophia is in the center. Okay, and she knew she was destined for something extraordinary. Okay, so I think this is a cool doll too, in that all the rainbow colors in the hair, very pretty. Kind of looks a lot like Ava in a way, but then not, right? So if you forgot that you purchased one of these, I could see where you see the other one. You're like, oh, I don't have that one. That looks a little different. And then you end up buying the same one, right? But you can see from the face sculpt, the faces are definitely different, not just because the lips, the mouths open on one or the other, but the faces are different. The eyebrows are different. So, and the noses. So, it's a completely different face sculpt. And the proportions, again, this has the thinner body. So I guess there's just two different body types here. And quite a fancy outfit she has. And, of course, she has also a horse brush. Hers is gold. And Isabel's is, kind of a pinkish red. All right. And I don't know what I did with Ava's accessories. I probably just put them in a drawer. And I, like I said, she was the first one. I bought her quite a while ago. But I was glad waiting because I didn't know that Valentina and Layla even existed. And I'm glad that I hung in there and discovered them, because I think they're really cool dolls. And look, you even have little pegs. I guess that's to go into the stirrups on the unicorn. But see how the hair has kind of, I don't know, maybe I have to cut that. I guess some of them, kind of, it's still attached. It might be attached to another hair, But anyway, it's a great doll. And look at how it has kind of, twisted, and then they have it a bungee around there. Oh, she came with this barrette. So she didn't come with a brush, just with the barrette. So I put the barrette there because I didn't actually like the way her hair just falls freely. So, all right. So there you go. There's your, Netflix Unicorn Academy dolls. And if you want, I like to put them, I can put them in an action pose, and, maybe, they can fly, and you can get these DC comic character stands, for like Superman or whatever, but it can hold your Unicorn Academy dolls as well. They're light enough, so yeah, that works. All right, well, I will talk to you soon, and rush out and get yourself some Unicorn Academy dolls. Thanks for watching. Take care.